Hey everybody, happy Friday. I wanted to welcome you back to another edition of the Commodities Conspectus. I apologize for being gone last week. I was really busy, and this week will be short and sweet. So with that, let's get started. First market that I want to highlight, I've been waiting for this breakout for quite some time now, is the crude oil futures market. You can see here that we have a symmetrical triangle that's been coiling for many months, and here on the daily chart we just received our first breakout bar on the daily price pattern. It's also really interesting that we have a pattern that looks like a reverse head and shoulders pattern, and using a measured move target where I'm measuring the length of the head to the neckline and then projecting it from the breakout point. Our predicted measured move for crude oil is 108 to 109 over the next few months. The dollar, after the dollar took a huge dive from the bearish harmonic patterns that I highlighted a few weeks ago, we are actually looking for some key cycle dates where we believe it could bounce and possibly continue going sideways in this consolidated fashion. It's really interesting that we have two separate cycle predictions around the 18th and the 19th of next week, looking at a possible low for the dollar, and then going forward, I want to go forward in time. 722 is an important cycle high, and also a major cycle high is September 27th, also very close to a secondary calculation of October 1st. So keep those dates handy. Those might be really interesting turning points here for the dollar index going forward. The next chart that I think is getting really interesting is the coffee futures. It is very oversold on the Commitment of Traders Index and longer term momentum oscillators. Also, this is really interesting. I analyze cycles a lot, and I don't see this amount of perfection in alignments very often, where we get three of the closest fit or strongest fit cycles all lining up in a potential bottom for coffee, or in any market, but for coffee in particular. So we're really looking at potentially this being the major bottom here in coffee. We have the major cycles all aligning to this point, and going forward, some important dates are projected here in this chart. Cotton bounced. I know we watched the harmonic patterns here in cotton a few weeks ago. It actually bounced a little bit shallower than I thought, but here we go back towards a potential wave 3. Some important key dates for trading the cotton market going forward are June 24th, July 16th, 8/2, and 8/27. So these could be interesting pivot points for trying to project the low of the next pullback here going forward in the cotton market. S&Ps, this is the major focus of a lot of people right now. Have we seen the high? That is the $1,000,000 question, right? Well, it's really interesting that our longer term cycle, as optimized, had the 23rd as the high date, and going forward we are also looking at some very interesting dates for further pivot points. June 28th, 7/15, and 8/09 are all going to be potential turning points. Again, these being lows and this being another potential high. If you look at the actual cycle composite, this would actually point to the fact that we could see a B, C like correction pattern that ends somewhere in the first week of August, and then we see another rally going back towards 1700. This is the primary scenario that I feel like we're going to have going forward in the S&P daily chart. Wanted to zoom in here for any of you intraday traders and show you how this cycle mechanism works on the hourly chart. It projects potential highs and low turning points, and they're pretty good up to a couple days forward. So I just wanted to show you the potential times and the dates of potential turning points for the S&P on the hourly chart. So we have a lot of turning points here around 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We see a lot of them on June 20th, June 24th, June 22nd. So if you trade daily, intraday, these could be interesting cycle turning points on the hourly chart. Make sure to snapshot that for your daily trading arsenal if you'd like. Last thing, I want to leave you with some of the astrological alignments going forward in the next couple weeks. We did have that Uranus square Pluto mark the high of the S&P for the time being. Going forward, 6/18, Jupiter is 90 degrees to the U.S. part of fortune, and this typically illuminates times of over exuberance in the market. And we could see a very choppy or volatile sideways price action on this day or the day following in the S&P, VIX, and the bonds. June 22nd, heliocentric Mercury into Sagittarius. Remember, we had this a few weeks ago. This is where we often see gold make sharp moves to the upside on this date. And the most important date I want to show you guys is the actual Bradley Sinograph turning date for this year is the 21st. So according to the Bradley model, the S&P should not see any higher highs past the 21st, and it also is projecting the S&P to make lows on the year as far as go negative on the year. So that is the Bradley model, not mine. I just want to let you know that we're watching it, and it has been quite accurate, but sometimes it does go inverted. 6/23, we have the supermoon at perigee, and lo and behold, it is actually right after the summer solstice, so that's kind of interesting. This is also a Gann turning point for the markets, the S&P. So we hope that this will have an effect on the stock market. Typically it does affect the silver, gold, and the coffee futures as well. On the 25th, Jupiter enters Cancer. Cancer is the ruling house for housing, silver, and oats. So those markets could have a change in trend on the 25th, according to the Jupiter entering Cancer house. 6/26, Mercury goes retrograde. This is often a very good alignment for short-term trend reversals in stocks and wheat. So with that, I will see you guys next week. Make sure to follow me on Vimeo and Twitter. Keep your stops tight and let your winners run.